So guys, I am going to show you, this is an old one I have done before, and as time goes on, it's sort of losing its shape. And if you can get the thicker one, the very thick one, you can't stitch on, better for you, and you won't have any issues like this. But still, this one also works very well, and it works very fine. So you can use this type of boning, or you can decide to use the thicker one. This is the one you can stitch on, but the other one you can't really stitch on it because it is really thick. So you decide which one you want. But for the other one, you can stitch on it, but you have to make casing for it on your nets. You have to make casing for it. You can see this one, I just placed the boning on it, and I just started doing my stitches. I just started running my stitches. But for the other one, you have to make casing. This is how you make your casing. Stitches on top, and you make your stitches here, and then you leave allowance at the middle, where you run your boning at the middle of it, where you insert your boning at the middle. So that is what you will do here. You make that casing right here, make your casing, and then you insert your boning. And then you also do the same for all of this. You make your casing and then you insert your boning. That is if you want to use the thicker boning. But for this type of boning, this Mailjaenae boning, you do not need to go through all of that. You just place your boning on it and you just stitch. And it would also be nice if you can add crinolines. You can add it to the net to give more volume to it. It would really come out really nice also. But if you want more volume to your dress, you can wear an underskirt. This is an underskirt. I might wear one at the end of this tutorial. I don't know yet. Yeah, so let's get right into it.
I'll be using this Mailjaenae boning. This is a stitch on boning, and I have about 70 yards of boning. You will need a lot of boning to make this tutorial. Now you can use your net, or you can use organza to make this. You need something that will make it thick. You can get the thickest net you can find. And I will be using my lining. I am using cotton lining for this because I need a thick lining, and cotton lining does the job. And you will need a lace. It's not necessary for you to use a lace. You can use any kind of fabric of your choice. Now I would also need scuba. This is neoprene or scuba, and I will be using it to add a foamy look to the dress, to give it a more foamy look. And I will be using satin to cover up the lace. I'll be using satin, and also I'll be using this lace which I got for really cheap, and I'll use it. I'll cut out the designs to design my dress. If you want to know how to cut this, I have a detailed tutorial which I'll put the link below, so you can watch on how to cut an applique. I will cut the design out, so I will use it much later to design my dress. Now here is how you get your calculations. The measurements you will need to make a ball gown is your waist. My waist circumference is 32, and another measurement you need is your length, and my length is 46. This is the most important measurement you need. Now the formula to get the waist division is my waist divided by number of gauze. Now number of gauze means each panel, and the panel in total is 12 from front to back. Now my waist, which is 32, will be divided by 12. That is for number of gores. And what I got is 2.46. Now I would approximate this to 2.5. Now here is a rough sketch of a panel or pago, what a gore looks like, and here is my hem and here is my waist. Now this is pago, and you need seam allowance on each side, and I would make, instead of putting this for 2.5, I'll make it 3 because I added ½ inch for seam allowance because it is going to be on fold while making my pattern. This gore is going to be on fold while making my pattern, and I will need seam allowance on this side. Now cutting on fold, that will be 3 divided by 2, you will make it 1.5. For my hem, which is the bottom of my gore or bottom of each panel, I will be using 15. You can use 10, you can use 12, you can use 18 or 20, depending on how much fabric you have. Now the most important measurements we need now is our hem, which is 15, and our waist, which is 1.5. And both are going to be cut on fold. Now that hem, when you open it up, you would have 30, but cutting on fold, you would have 15 for the hem. If it is opened up, you have 30. Now for the waist, if it is opened up, I have 3 at the waist, and on fold I have 1.5. I hope this is not confusing, but let's jump into the tutorial for more understanding. Now here is my pattern, which I have joined more pattern right here, as you can see, and I also joined another pattern right here so as to make it longer to work with. I made sure that from here to here is my length measurement, which is my waist to my length, and I added a few more inches to it to make it longer. Now here is how you fold your pattern. Now this part is going to be where I'll cut my waist, and this part will be where I'll cut my hem. Now let's go and do that. As you can see, my pattern is on fold. Now I will take a marginal line at the top right here. Okay, this is not straight. I will take another one. Sorry. Okay, now that I have my marginal line, I will take my 1.5 right here. This is my waist for each panel. Now right here on that line, I will take my length, which I said is 46, plus bottom hemming and waist hemming, that is to join it to your upper bodice. Now once I have gotten the length I want to work with, I will take the width I want for my panel, which I said is 15 inches. I will take it right there. Now I am just adding my bottom hemming allowance, which I said I would add, and also don't forget to add your waist hem allowance to join to your upper bodice. Now I will just connect this line to my waist. And isn't that really simple to make? And now we'll just go on and cut this pattern out. Now we have a pattern to work with. Now here is what I was explaining earlier on. Now this unfold is 15 and opened it up on the hem is 30, and this unfold is 1.5, opened it up is 3 inches. It's as simple as that. Now I will just fold my fabrics and I will place my pattern and I will start cutting, and you will cut 12 of all the fabric you are using, because the number of gauze you are working with is 12. You can use more than 12, you can use less than 12, but whatever it is you are using, make sure you divide it by your waist. That is just how to do this, and it's really simple to make and really simple to do. Now I will just go on and cut this out and also cut out the rest, and I will show it to you. Once I am done cutting, I'll cut 12 of the lace, 12 of the net, 12 of the neoprene, and also 12 of the lining. So here is my satin. I have 12 of this. Like I said, I would cut, and here is my lace. I also have 12 of this. Here is my lining, my cotton lining, and I also have 12 of this, as you can see. And here is my neoprene. I also have 12 of this. Remember I said neoprene is also scuba. And here is my net. I also have 12 of this. Now that we have cut all our fabrics, we will get your net or your organza, and what we will do right now is we're going to place this net on fold so as to get the midpoint. Now using my marker, I will just start marking that midpoint from top to bottom. Now what you're going to do is place your boning and stitch on that middle one. Just follow the boning curve and stitch it all the way down to the bottom. I won't do that right now, but I will just go on and mark the rest so as to show you how to place your boning on your net. From my waist downwards, I will take 4 inches. Now from those 4 inches, I will take 7 inches downwards. Now from those 7 inches that I have taken, I will take another 7 inches, and I will keep taking 7 inches till I get down to the bottom. So guys, this is 4 inches. From here is 7 inches, and I'll keep taking 7 till I get to the bottom. And now we have marked out all the lines all the guidelines we would follow so as to place in our boning. And the first line I will follow is the middle line, followed by the bottom one. I'll place boning at the bottom right here, and I would also go in and place the rest in. I will follow the line and start placing my boning on the rest. till I get to the 4 inches mark. Now you need to make sure you follow the natural curve of your boning. It has to be as curvy as this, and I will go on and start placing this on the guideline, and I will stitch. Now here is how you stitch on your boning. You have to stitch on the right side, then come to the left side and stitch. You're going to be stitching on the both sides of your boning, the very both edge of your boning. Stitch on the right and also stitch on the left. Now, like I said, I am going to join the middle boning first, which I have done, and also added boning to the bottom one. Now I have done that, and I will keep adding my boning until I get to the 4 inches mark at the top. I have placed my boning to my net. As you can see, I have done all of the 12 panels, and this is what the finished look looks like. I just follow the natural curve of my boning. As you can see, I just placed it on the boning and I followed the natural curve, and I kept placing it like that. Don't go and follow the natural curve and then turn your boning to the other side. You will totally spoil the design. You have to follow the natural curve of the boning so as to keep the whatever it is you're making in shape. So guys, here is how you remove sharp edges from your boning so it doesn't poke you or your clients. So using a candle, I am going to put this into the fire and just make the sharp edges rounder. And I almost never posted this video because my candle disappeared from the background, so I had to make another video. So this is basically what I was doing. I just choke my boning through the fire, and I just use my hand to round up the edges. Just choke your boning through the light, and once your boning catches fire, make sure you put it off immediately and just use your finger and just make that rounder. As you can see, it is round and that other one is sharp. So that's basically that, guys. It's really simple. So you can do this before you place your boning to your net, or you can do this after you place your boning to your net, which I am doing. And as you can see, it is no longer painful when it pokes you. And you would very much do this for every piece of the sharp edges of your boning. If not, it is going to be painful as hell when it pokes you. If you use just your fabric to cover this, it will feel flat, and not just that, the boning and everything is very visible on the fabric. So that is why neoprene or scuba is very important, to use it to cover this up and give it a more nicer feel and effect. You can also add interfacing on your fabric, a very thick one, to give your fabric more stand, even with using scuba or not using scuba. But for this tutorial, I won't be doing that. Now I would use my scuba to cover this. Now I would use my satin to cover this, and you can see the difference. The difference is so much bigger compared to just putting your fabric on top of the boning. When you put your neoprene, your scuba and your satin or any choice of your fabric, it looks so much more better. Now I'll put my scuba on it, and I'll put my satin, and next thing I'll put on top of this is my lace. At this point, if you're not using lace, you can just use any fabric of your choice, and that is it. So I will just put my lace over this. Now I would go on my sewing machine and join the sides together, or you can as well just pin the sides together from top to bottom.
Now I will go on and do the same process for all the other 12 pieces, and I will pin the sides together of all of them. Now as you can see, I have pinned this, I have pinned the sides, and I have also done the same for this other panel. And now I will just join the sides, good sides together, and I would go on and join the sides by 1/2 inch from top all the way down to the bottom. Now I would also go on and do this for every 12 pieces of all of the panels. I will do this for all of them. I will just go on and join and keep joining all of the pieces together. Now as you can see, I have joined all of the pieces together, and this is all of the 12 panels. And another thing I did was to join my lining pieces together, the whole 12. I joined everything side by side by 1/2 inch. And this is what the inside is looking like right now. You can go on and overlock all the rough edges. Now I'll just go on and bring in my lining, which I said I have already gone and joined all the pieces together. Now, this is what your lining should look like once you're done joining all the pieces together. Now I'll just go on and join the bottom of my lining to the bottom of my fabric. Now you need to make sure that the seam of your lining matches the seam of your fabric as you join the good sides together. Now I am going to just go on and match the good sides together and pin the seam of my lining to the seam of my fabric. I will pin everything at the bottom. Now I would go on my sewing machine and I will stitch the bottom. I'll stitch the bottom parts together. Now as you can see, I have joined my lining to my fabric at the bottom part. I have stitched everything together, and I also made sure that the seam of my lining matches with the seam of my fabric, as you can see. In order not to make this video longer than it already is, I have a detailed tutorial on how to make this upper part of your top. This is an overlapped off-shoulder top. I have a detailed tutorial on how to do this, and I'll put the link below the description box or in the comment section. Do check the video out and see how to make this. Now I will just open up this lining around the waist area. I'll just open it up a bit, and I would place in my upper bodies, which I said I have a tutorial which is going to be in the description box below or in the comment section. You can check both. And I will just place this good side to my fabric, good side of the upper part to the good side of the lower parts. And I am going to go on, and you can just go on and stitch this together or just pin it down. And now just bring in your lining and just join it to that waist part, and you can just go on and pin this, but I am going to go on and stitch everything. I'll pin and stitch everything by 1/2 inch together. I will sew everything by 1/2 inch, thereby joining my upper bodies to my lower bodies and also the lining. And once I am done doing this, as you can see, I will just go in through this opening and turn everything out. Now once you've turned it all out, you can just go on and now stitch on your boning on the good side. Stitch on the boning at the very bottom of your dress, and you stitch it all the way around it.
This way it is going to be firmer. At this point, you can go in and add your zipper to your dress, and also you can go on and overlock the edges of your raw fabric, or you can also bias it. I would have showed you guys how I fixed my zipper, but I lost the footage. Sorry guys. But this is very much the same way you add a zipper to a dress. What you will do is to measure 5 inches from your waist point downwards. Take 5 or 6 inches from your waist joining. And once you have done this, next thing you will do is to mark your zipper seam allowance all the way down. And once you've done that, just stitch on that zipper allowance all the way down to the bottom. By doing so, you will be joining your two sides together. Now, once you've done that, you can just go on and fix in your zipper and overlock the edges, and it's as simple as that. And yeah, very importantly, you can just go on and pull this down and join this to your zipper, or you can put it upwards and don't join it to your zipper, but just make sure you overlock the edges or bias them. And that is that. Now onto the applique. I have gone and cut out all my applique. The appliques I will be using to create design on my dress. And as you can see, I cut out the whole shape of the flowers of the designs. So you can use your uhu gum, or you can decide to use hot glue gun for this. Now I'll very much go on and start pinning my appliques on my fabric because I haven't yet decided where I really want it to sit. So I will just start pinning my applique wherever I feel I want it for now. And once I am done pinning, I would use, as you can see, I have pinned everything to where I want it to be, and I will just go on and use my uhu gum and just put this all around the applique. Once I feel like it has gotten to everywhere it needs to be, I will just go on and place this on my fabric and let it sit. It has to dry up for about some hours. Now you can just keep doing this for every of the designs. So I am running out of uhu gum. I will just go on and plug my hot glue gun to the light, and I will just keep laying my glue to my applique, and I will just keep gluing this to my fabric, and that is very much what I am doing. Apologies guys that my video is too bright and too colorful and too washed up. I encountered lots of turbulence or should I say shooting problems while shooting this, so y'all should just manage this. I almost never wanted to post this video, but I just decided to post it anyway. So I hope you all like it, and if you do, please do give it a thumbs up, and hope to see you in more and more tutorials. And yeah, do make sure you subscribe.